Hello and welcome to Learning Office 2016. My name is Mike Henry and this is the 7th video from Chapter 2. In this video we're going to learn how to insert a footnote, also an endnote. We'll see what the difference between a footnote and an endnote is. And then we're going to learn how to edit certain parts of the footnote and actually take a footnote and turning it into an endnote or vice versa. So we've been working on an MLA style paper, and this is a complete MLA style paper now. We've created our top part, we've set all the parameters for it exactly right, and then we cited our work and we also created a good works cited page. So everything we've done up to now has been all about MLA. One of the extra features that Word does is it allows for footnotes and endnotes. These are important pieces of other types of documents, but unfortunately we don't have another document to practice this on, so we're going to practice footnotes and endnotes right here in this document, just like it does in the module that we're working on right now. But it's important to understand that if you're doing a true MLA style document, you would never put in a footnote or an endnote. So these would be used in different style of documents. Maybe you're doing a business paper and it has an executive summary piece in it, and you're going to footnote some pieces of work from that. If you've ever read some older style research material, footnotes and endnotes were really big back then, not used as much today, so you don't find that in a lot of the documents. Where you do find it is in a lot of business documents. They will use still today footnotes and endnotes. I know that BIW uses footnotes in a lot of its documentation when it puts things together for training and other engineering type documents. So we're going to look at that. So the first thing that we're going to look at is a footnote. And when we look at putting in a footnote, I'm just going to do the same thing. I am going to put a footnote in right here at the end of this first sentence. I put my vertical insertion point right there, and then I'm going to insert this footnote. So up here you can see next footnote to be inserted, or insert footnote right here. Either one will work. I'm going to hit insert a footnote. Now you'll notice right away it brings me to the bottom of that page, and it puts a number 1 there. I'm going to scroll up before I do anything else, and you'll see right here at the end of where it says consumer at the end of the sentence, you can see the number 1, which marks where my footnote is. How footnote works is you look at the bottom of the page for whatever extra information goes about that. It could be old-fashioned way, we would cite a book or where that work came from. Maybe we are just trying to define what this particular thing means, and maybe what we'll define is what consumer is. So here we'll put consumer means the person wearing the device. So it gives a better definition. Now I wanted to show you here, you can see where consumer has the red line. Spell check does work in your footnotes. I wanted you guys to see that. Simple right click and you can see the consumer is there. Oh, I put in the wrong letter, and now I have consumer. So please make sure that you're always spell checking your footnotes and your endnotes. They both work the same way. So on this page we now see that we have one footnote, and you can see that when I put my pointer on it, it shows me what's in the wording of footnote in a little tag. Now over here I might decide to put another device, another footnote. So right over mobile, I'll hit insert, and you can see that it gets numbered 2, and then I can put here mobile is not the gas station. Okay, so we can see now we've got 2 footnotes down here, and what you'll see up here is that you see the 1 and then the number 2 right here. Now the reason I put these really close is I want you to see that if I decided for some reason to move this sentence, let's say I just highlight this particular sentence right here and say, you know what, that's a great sentence, but I would rather have that sentence somewhere else. So I do a simple cut, and then I put it over here and I do a simple paste at the beginning of the next paragraph, you can see that that got renumbered 1, this one's numbered 2, and you can see down here these were switched. Okay, so this automatically renumbers your footnotes for you and puts them in the order that you're going to find them as you read. All right. So as we get going here, you might say, oh, here's another word that we want to use, GPS, and maybe we want to tell everyone what that means. So instead of using a footnote this time, we're going to insert an endnote. So you'll notice that I get a small letter I, and the endnote also goes to after the last line of text, you get your endnote. Okay, so the endnote is the last thing on a document. It's even after this works cited page piece here, and you can see up here where I clicked on that by the GPS is the I. How to find yourself. Okay, so we have now footnotes and endnotes in this document. If I wanted the endnote to be on its own special page, I do a Control Enter, and now I'd have an endnote page. You often find this in books. Endnotes can be a little bit more difficult because as you're reading through the book, you want to see what that wording is. You have to go all the way to the back of the book versus a footnote. It's right at the bottom. The downside to a footnote is it takes up space on the page, and sometimes you can't put as much text or material on a page because the footnote is squishing up. You can see how this is squishing up lines and removing them from the document. So footnotes and endnotes. Now the one other thing that we can do with a footnote and an endnote is I can click right here on this footnote and I can convert that to an endnote. You can see I can click on this one too, and I can convert that to an endnote, and so now my document has no footnotes, they're all endnotes, and you can see how they've been moved to the back. Other things I can control is how it looks. So if I click right here, you can say I'd like to look at the options. So I click on the options here, and if there are footnotes at the end of the document, that's really good. Right now it's a numbering format of little I, then 2, then 3. I can change that to maybe I would prefer it to be numbered 1, 2, 3. And so when I do that, I hit insert, and you can see where a numbering system has now been put in place for these. And then up here you can see that we've got a number 3 here. So you can control a lot of different pieces to your footnotes and endnotes. Again, they're not part of an MLA style document. You would never use them in one of those, but you will find they're being used in other types of documents. So in this video we learned about footnotes and endnotes. We learned that they're not part of the MLA style world. We don't use those in MLA style documents. We use those in other style documents, but we did practice them in this MLA style paper because that's what we were doing in this chapter. So we learned how to insert them. We learned that if you move them around, they automatically adjust to where they are in relationship to any other footnotes or endnotes in the paper. We learned that we can convert them back and forth from footnotes to endnotes and endnotes to footnotes, and then we also learned that you could change it. So it doesn't have to be a lettering or a numbering system. You can change that and put it however you want yours numbered.